I have completed a personal purpose page, and I'm basically taking that template and going to use it multiple times as I create different pages. So I've got this index page that I've created a basic design that I like, and I want to create a contact form on a contact page. So I've went ahead and just basically copied the index page. So you can just do that by hitting Option and then click and drag, and you can see a plus sign. It'll add another page. Then you just change that to the contact page, and then you go into Text Wrangler or whatever text editor you have, and you edit the page content. So if I was to take Text Wrangler, you could see that I basically took out all of the content inside of the body text below the header tag. So I replaced, if I click on this contact page, once I do that, make those changes, you'll see exactly what I created here, which is the H1 tag and H2 tags, and then a paragraph tag, and then my form is going to go below that. So what we're creating today is a form. So if you want to follow along with me and kind of work on this as we go, you can take this and implement it in any sort of template that you have. Say if you wanted to create different pages from that one index page like you already created, maybe if you have a basic template design, you can use it on the contact form. So I took what I had on the home page, duplicated it as a separate HTML page, changed the title, and made sure that it's the same title that connects with this href on my index page, so that it'll go to the contact.html page. So you just need to make sure that you have the name of whatever page you're creating as the same one as the href inside of your link on the nav menu, so that it'll look consistent with the design. Okay, so anyway, here's the form. The first thing that you need to create a form is just to start with the opening tag and the closing tag of the form. And then inside of the actual form tag, you can add some attributes. One of the attributes you can add is method, and then you'll go method equals, and then you put quotations, and we're going to come back and fill that in a minute. We're going to do action as the other attribute. Action like that. Okay, now the first is going to be in the method. It's going to either be post or get, and the difference is basically if you're getting something, you may be getting some information or getting something from a database. If you're going to post, you're going to put it somewhere. And in this case, we're just going to do a basic post to our email. So in order to do that, we have to use the mail to, and then do the colon. And then after the colon, you put your email. So if my email is Scott at SWC Marketing, I can take that, and instead of giving them the exact email, one thing that you can do when you're posting something in your code, there are bots that are going around looking for susceptible emails that they can spam. So what you can do is you can go and Google email scramble or scrambler. And I've already got mine highlighted because I could do this fairly regularly. I'm going to go into Go Live Central, and I will put in the email address that I want to scramble, basically. I can enter some sort of link text if I don't want it to be visible, if I want the link information to show up as well. But I'm just going to do my email for now and just hit submit. And then you'll get a bunch of characters that you can basically cut and paste into that mail to location. So it still says mail to colon, and then this is basically your email address or the email address that I just had, but it's less recognizable than a standard email address. Okay, so that'll kind of confirm that you can scramble your email and it won't be as obvious to spam bots. Okay. So there's the first tag to creating the form, is to actually have the form opening and closing tag. Once you do the opening and closing tag, you can just start inserting the different questions or statements that you want to have inside of your form. And I'm going to just start with the typical first name, last name, and I'm just going to hit enter right now. I'm not putting any tags on these. I'm just making the text visible. So then I'm going to say phone number, email address, business name, and then a message. If you have a specific message that you want to send someone, say this is a more specific contact form, like if you want to get a quote from them, you might put, what is your budget range? You need to know what kind of form you want, and that will determine the sort of pieces for the form that you're going to add to your contact form. But mine's more just a general inquiry. So I'll start with this text. So if I do that, I hit refresh, you'll see that there's no formatting on any of this. It's just basically one big text on inline. Okay, so from there, I can create my first input type next to the first name. So I'm going to say input type equals, and this is going to be text, and I'm going to say name equals, and I'm going to give it a name in a minute. I'm going to give it a placeholder. The placeholder is what shows up inside this field. You're basically creating a field where they're going to enter their first name. So if you want to have text inside of the placeholder, you can just say something here, first name, and you'll see that in just a minute. Then you want to give the size of the box, and you're giving the amount of characters that you're going to allow someone to put inside this box. And you can give a max length. So the box can be actually shorter than the max length, which means you can go further than just the size of the box when you're inputting text. So if I wanted to put 50, that means the box will go further than just the size. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Then you have a few just values that you can add. You can add required, and autofocus is another one. These two values are not common. These different attributes here, we have values that are surrounded by quotation marks and next to an equal sign. So that's usually the way you write attributes and their values, but in this case in HTML5 there are a few that don't require values. They just go straight to attributes, so you can just add them like this. So required means it's a required, in order to submit the form you have to put something inside of this field. The autofocus says when a person clicks on the contact page, the cursor automatically goes to this location. So you only should put the autofocus on one input field or one field inside of your contact page or your form, so that the cursor will know which input field to go to. So when I'm creating multiple inputs for these different pieces that I want people to fill out, so like first name, last name, phone, I'm going to have a field for each one of those, but we can only do one autofocus, and that's going to be in the first name because that's the very first one. That's the one I want people to type in automatically, as the cursor will come up on that first field only. So these are some of the elements that we can use. I'm going to give it a name, and I can call this whatever I want. It's going to be my own custom name, and I can just say F name like that if I want to. So it's first name for short. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to refresh. Now here's the field right next to first name. I'm going to go ahead and make a space in between first name and input type, so you can see there's a space there, and there'll be a little more space in between the name and the field. Now this is the placeholder element where it says first name like this. You can see if I changed this value to first like that, it's going to change to all caps as well. So whatever I want to put in here, I can make it show up as that in the placeholder. So you can see here if I refresh, the autofocus goes straight to that first field, and I'll show you more how that works in the future. Because I have the required tag on here, I probably want to communicate that to them somehow. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little asterisk next to the input type and refresh like that, so you can see that there's an asterisk, and I can style that asterisk later if I want to, but for now I'm just going to leave it like that. So people have a pretty good understanding whenever there's an asterisk next to it. It's common knowledge for that to be a required field.